You for joining us today. We could not be more excited to welcome Dana Spaulding, founder of Wander and Ivy, to the KitchenAid Fairway Club demo stage today. She's going to talk a little bit more about cooking with wine. Wander and Ivy is the official wine of the 2021 KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship. Dana is a certified level 2 sommelier, founder of Wander and Ivy in April of 2017. The Denver-based company is a certified woman and disability-owned company providing premium wine in upscale, patented single-serve packaging. All Wander and Ivy wines are handpicked from award-winning family-owned vineyards around the world.
So it works out anyway.
There
we
we
go. So I'm excited. What I wanted to do is I wanted to wait today. I've not tasted her wine, so I wanted you to see my reaction because I would consider myself a wine collector. I have wines back to 1953.
Wow.
And so I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
In particular, we had a conversation. I call myself a Spanophile, which is I've lived and worked in Spain for years. And she has a Spanish blend, correct?
Correct.
A French?
Correct.
And an American.
Correct.
So I got those right. Let's start there.
You nailed it.
So I'm going to use her red in here, but I'm going to taste it first. I'll need a glass, and she'll need a glass.
Thank you. Yeah.
We're going to taste them in front of you. She can talk about grape varietals. I can go over it as well. But you got to admit, just looking at it makes you want to drink it.
Right?
Just that's it. You want to just have at it. And, you know, these are perfect for a hotel room. That's where we're at right now, Peter. So we'll line you up.
I love it.
So, huh?
We'll
get it home. TSA approved. Nothing's TSA approved.
Probably not, but you put it in your bag, or not to carry on, but to
I can hide 3 of them in a KitchenAid stand mixer and ship it to you. So we're going to talk about the white first?
Yeah, sure thing. So we have 3 different varietals here. As I said, each are sourced from a different family-owned vineyard around the world. Our Chardonnay is from the United States. It's from California. This Chardonnay was on French oak for 3 months. So just a short amount of time. What I love about it is you still get a little bit of the toastiness, a little bit of the butteriness. I just think it's a super light, not too heavy for just when you're looking for one great glass of Chardonnay.
Awesome.
Should I go a little bit into the red blend?
Absolutely.
Well, we were talking about it because he said, "Which is it okay if it's my favorite?" And I said, "It happens to be my favorite as well." And I don't hide from that. So the red blend is a 55-45 mix of Bobal and Merlot. And Bobal is a grape that's native to Valencia, Spain. I adore it because it's a mix of this very classic Merlot grape, which people know and recognize, I think. But with Bobal, it's different. Not everybody's familiar with it, and it gives it a really, really cool spice and a chocolate aftertaste, which I just
That's
absolutely
awesome.
love.
I'm excited.
And it's dry, it's full-bodied. And so that's our red blend. And then should I talk a little bit about the rosé?
Absolutely.
So the rosé is from the south of France. It's from Languedoc. This is a 60-40 split of Cab and Merlot. I love it, like we were talking about. For this time of year, it's light, it's dry, it's perfect for spring, summertime. And you'll see for each of them, I didn't mention, but I'll mention for the rosé and the others, that they all have a little animal on the front. It's a little bit, adds a little character to our labels. We have a character that represents each of the regions that the wines are sourced from. So we have a flamingo that represents where it's from, which is Languedoc, France. I didn't know that flamingos were native to the south of France.
Yes,
I learned
they
that.
are.
And so we have a flamingo, and I don't know if you've noticed, but on the front they're all very serious, all the animals, and on the back they're a little bit drunk.
Well, it's funny. When I came out of culinary school just a few years ago, I was working in Saint-Tropez, and not to mention the French were insane in the kitchen. I've never felt more abused in my life. I'm walking down the beach, and I'm like, why is there a flamingo here? And I thought they only existed in Florida. So I found out wrong.
There you go.
What I'm intrigued about tasting the red for, we gave you the wine glass. I'm going to use a styrofoam cup because that's what cooks do. So our bosses don't find out that we're drinking in the kitchen. The Bobal is a very unique blend with a Merlot because typically, your typical grape out of Spain, popularity-wise, are Tempranillo and Grenache. And then so that's why I'm intrigued, because you took it to a different level.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to be closing on a condo in Benidorm, which is outside of Valencia.
Oh,
and
congratulations.
So I'll go and make wine for you.
Oh, well, that sounds wonderful.
So you're going to allow me to taste this, right?
Please do,
And then I'll pour you some
Please
first.
do. So you'll see we have a twist off, and we also have a silicone cork. So you can pop it off.
So if you're already a little, what we call sauced up, and you forget that that's there, the wine's not going to come out of the bottle. So we're going to pour a little bit, like we do in restaurants as a tasting.
Perfect.
And I'm going to use my very elegant little cup here, pour it in here. So that's we just drizzled out about 0.3 ounces. I'm evening it out for the Bolognese.
Please.
Bolognese, one of the secrets is a good red wine. So we're going to add the rest of this, if I may.
Yes.
In here. It really is a beautiful label.
Thank you.
I mean, it is.
Thank you.
So
go
what
ahead.
really made you think about this, the whole thing, aside from your husband telling you not to waste wine?
You know, honestly, it's when I went out to the market, what I saw in general was lower quality wines and lower quality packaging. And for me, I was really looking for a luxury experience, especially at home in these types of environments when I just want a glass, when I just want to cook with it. And everything I found in market felt like not at all a luxury. The wine was lower quality and the packaging. And so I really wanted to create something that felt a little more elevated and do it all with natural and organic ingredients, because that's what I learned was that in general the market does not have natural and organic ingredients when it comes to particularly the single serve space. And so I thought if we could do it with less additives, less chemicals, that would be phenomenal. So I'm really proud that we were able to do that.
You should be, because the labeling, the bottling in particular, is very elegant. You can put this in a fine dining restaurant on the table, and there are water bottles out there that are dressed up this. But now to put wine in it, I would say it's more inviting to drink the wine than the water, because live dehydrated, so it's okay.
Yes,
so cheers and
thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. Cheers. And I will share, I'm also really proud, she mentioned at the very beginning, but I know her mic wasn't necessarily on, all of the packaging is patented as well, and that's something I'm really proud of. Because it's so different, we were able to get protection around how unique it is.
And you didn't have to go on to Shark Tank to sell it. which is a big key. This is actually very delicious.
I'm so glad.
It really is, and it tastes like a Spanish wine.
Right.
Which is, if it doesn't taste like the country, if you've been to Spain and you're sitting at a tapas bar or you're sitting in a restaurant, you know you're tasting. When you come back here and you have that particular grape varietal, you know you're tasting that country.
Yep.
So congratulations.
Well, thank you. This is my favorite. So hopefully you all can enjoy a little bit too.
And hopefully KitchenAid won't be mad that I just drank wine on stage.
I hope not. Just a sip.
The rosé, I'm intrigued by the rosé because we're at that time of year where the rosé is going to be hot in sales, and the Chardonnay as well.
Yeah, so both of them really have been such high sellers for us because of that, and they're just so easy to drink. That was really our goal for all of these, was to be approachable at every level. Some of my favorite things is when we were training the staff yesterday of hearing, I normally don't love Chardonnay because it's overly buttery or overly anything, and for each of them, it's just subtle enough that they're a great one glass of wine. So that was my target for each of them. And the rosé really is light, it's crisp, perfect for this time of year.
I'm intrigued about the rosé because I think a lot of rosés out there are a little over popular. I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to kill any brands out there because branding is kind of what I do. But the rosé is really, I mean, it's intriguing again for the time of year.
Yeah.
But most importantly, what's the blend in there?
So that's a Cab Merlot. It's a 60-40 Cab Merlot mix.
So in layman's terms, that's not bad. That's a good blend, a Cab and Merlot. And Merlot is coming back finally after that movie destroyed it.
Right?
It's coming back. Are you okay with opening the other two?
I would love to, please.
Brett, you want to come up here? This is my executive sous chef. He's the guy that does all the work, and I get all the credit.
Hey, we work together. It's a team effort, right?
Good answer.
Thank you, thank you. The elegant service, I love it.
You got to pour your own. Just like prep. Smells fruity.
Yeah, the label's beautiful. I love the flamingo on there.
Thank you.
Wow. Not high alcohol content.
No.
It's really smooth.
It is.
And
It is.
very refreshing.
Yep. And it's
perfect.
not cold. If it's chilled, it's going to taste even better. Now, there's a great question. Temperatures on the Chardonnay and the Rosé would be the same temperature cold,
Correct,
right?
yeah,
But
correct.
what about the red?
So the red will just do a little lower. Where do you normally like your reds?
58 to 60.
Yeah, and that's, I would say, normally the high 50s is where I like to keep the red. Yeah.
Boom.
Right on point.
Great. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think people, like cooking, I don't think people get the gist of what she has accomplished. Not just from finding the grape varietals, getting the blend down, having an enologist, whether you're in French, American oak, stainless, or otherwise, what you've done here is you brought this to the forefront in your own way.
Yeah.
And that wasn't easy.
It was not. It was not at all. It's been a long road, but I just couldn't be more proud of where we are because it is so different. And you know, one of the things we haven't really talked about is getting it inside the bottle is remarkably challenging, and it was something that I didn't quite appreciate until now.
She's being very polite right now.
It's just, you know, I didn't really realize that there was pretty little to zero innovation in the wine bottling industry. You know, there's cans, but that's an entirely separate canning line. But when it comes to wine bottling lines, it hasn't been changed for 100 years. And so 100 plus years. And so to do something so quite different is very challenging, and I'm so proud we've been able to do it.
So I'll say things that she wouldn't say. Dealing with the wine industry within itself is beyond complicated. Not to mention, she's looking to get her flavor and her package in the bottle. And then you got all these so-called wine professionals that are telling you different.
Yeah.
And at some point in her process, she said, she had to say, look, this is my product, and you're going to do it my way.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. That's pretty accurate to what happened. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, it took a very long time to find production partners that were willing to innovate. That for me was one of the most challenging elements of it, because it's been the same for so long, and we just had to say, here's what we're doing and get on board. And it's been exciting for them to see how much we've grown because there isn't anything quite like us.
I've been doing this 9 years. They bring me back every year. I don't know why. When I started, I had hair. It's all ended there. Most importantly, to be the major sponsor, wine sponsor for the KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship is a big deal.
Thank you. I am very, very honored. I couldn't even believe that they were interested. They tasted we were interested in the packaging. They were also very interested, I will say, to give them credit, interested in bringing on a diverse brand. And so we are so proud to be certified women-owned. I'm a majority owner of the company, and that's a big deal in the industry.
That is a huge deal.
So to say that we're certified women-owned, and that's really what they were looking for in terms of a sponsor to come in. And so then they tasted it, loved it, and I just was so excited to be here and to have it at the tournament has been incredible.
So when you finally, I always ask this question because I do sauces and stuff and package them. When you finally saw the finished product, not only tasted it, but saw the finished product, did you cry?
I did when I first saw it on the shelf. My husband can attest to it, is that it didn't quite feel real, I felt, until someone else had the opportunity to buy it. When I saw it on the shelf, that for me, he actually got a picture. So we have a picture of me emotional seeing it on the shelf for the first time.
That's awesome.
And seeing it next to things, there's a sea of cans, and then there's Wander and Ivy, and it was just so moving to me to see that.
So the next question for you is, how do we get this wine in our prospective states?
Yeah, so we ship direct to most states. We ship to 39 states direct, and we are also in retailers in 8 states. So that we are working on expanding dramatically over really the next 12 to 18 months, being in as many states across the country in store. But we ship direct to most states as well at wanderandivy.com.
So one way and I'm going to bring the food into it for a minute, we're making a bolognese here. Secret to a good bolognese is a good red wine. If the good red wine is not so good, the meat is not going to absorb the color and or the flavor. If you look down and you can see the meat, you can see the red wine is being absorbed. That means not only was the fermentation done properly, but the wine is good.
Thank you. I am very honored. This man is vast experience in the wine industry, and so I was very impressed by that and excited to hear your feedback.
I appreciate it. Anything else you can add that people can get this out there? Like Florida, for example. We're in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, you're in Florida.
Yes.
Okay. We can ship direct to you.
All right.
So
That's
go
a
online,
win.
you go wanderandivy.com. I'll also be sending you some, so don't worry. but wanderandivy.com, we ship direct to Florida.
So I will say this out loud, and he will tell you, I don't have a filter. So I'm honest.
That's true.
You do not have to do anything. This is worth purchasing.
Oh, thank you.
100%.
I was nervous because he seemed so honest to hear your feedback. I mean, I'm so proud of our wines, but I know
That's why we did it up here.
So I couldn't be more excited about your feedback.
No, you should be so proud. I mean, extremely proud, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I
And
appreciate that.
he'll tell you he works with me every day for 4 years. And I'm surprised he's still standing here.
Yeah, he roped me in.
Yeah. And, I mean, any fine dining restaurants?
So we're not in Florida fine dining restaurants yet, but we will say, especially with the world opening up, well, I should say even during the pandemic, it was a really wonderful to-go option because so many places from a fine dining perspective, they were putting their wines in this to go, but their foods were remarkable. So we gave folks opportunities to have a more elevated wine option for folks with their incredible food that they were having to go. So yes, that's really what the last year looked like, but now we are by the glass, which is great because it is certified organic, as you know.
Yep.
When you open up a certified organic wine, one of the things that makes it certified organic is that it doesn't have any more than 100 parts per million of sulfites. And so it doesn't, that is used as a preservative, so that just means that it doesn't last as long. And so if you're opening a wine and not going through the entire bottle, having a single serve organic wine by the glass is a great option for restaurants, and that's where we've had a lot of success.
And the organic side it's very important because you're getting true flavor. When you get the additive sulfites, it's kind of like sodium to a product of food. You're getting stuff that's not good for your body, and you get headaches from. And the sulfites, there's less sulfites in this than stuff that comes over to Europe.
Yep.
The reason they put sulfites in it, so it has a longer shelf life. And this doesn't have a longer shelf life, but frankly, it shouldn't have a longer shelf life because you should empty the bottle.
I tell folks all the time, you don't want to age. You're not going to put this in your cellar to age it. Drink it. So that's what's so exciting about it. It doesn't.
If I get permission, I can have a couple bottles for tonight, right?
Yes.
All right.
Can you open the Chardonnay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what about, are there specific vineyards that you work with in the prospective countries?
There
or-
are. We don't have them. You won't see the family-owned vineyard, but they're all family-owned. And we keep consistency. So every year we source from the same French, Spanish, Californian. So we work with all the same vineyards year after year, and they're very specific. So it was important to me to not, so that when someone has a Wander and Ivy Chardonnay, they know what to expect year to year, and that it doesn't vary dramatically from style. So that's why we source from the same family-owned vineyards.
Another intriguing point about this, there used to be a organic vineyard in Redwood Valley in California.
Yeah.
And it was called Lalonis.
Mm-hmm.
They
I
only
know
sell
them
their
well.
grapes now. I know Maureen, we did a James Beard dinner
There
together.
you go. There you go.
She made sure it was organic, but most importantly, she had a ladybug on each bottle, or ladybugs. If a ladybug will land on the plant and or anything in the exterior planet, that means it's safe to eat. And it was a great, brilliant little branding thing. So when she came to the James Beard House in New York, I'm getting goosebumps all over again. She gave me a ladybug for my jacket with diamonds and rubies.
Wow.
Look, I'm just ready to bawl right now. It's just, I was like, this is too expensive. What are you doing? I'm a cook. She goes, no. She goes, you're a chef. You deserve this.
Wow.
Maureen Lalonis. I'll never forget that. And that's a very good point. If the ladybug lands, it's organic.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
Pretty cool point, right?
It's such a cool point. It is. I think, people know, I think when they go to the grocery store, what organic means today, but they don't necessarily always know what it means when it comes to wine. So it's really, I think, cool to be able to be a part of that education process, because one of the things that I learned when getting in the industry was that with wine and most alcoholic beverages, there's no regulatory requirement to say what's in the bottle. So for the most part, you don't know what's in the wine bottle, which is okay to an extent, but it really doesn't allow you to know a lot about really anything about the ingredients. And so that to me was really interesting. I care so much about when I go to the grocery store, is it organic? I'd really want the grapes that are grown in our wine and used in our winemaking process to be organic as well. But I hadn't really thought about that a lot until I got into the industry.
Well, one of the things I had an idea, he knows, about a year ago I came up with a new concept to, aerate the wine.
Yeah.
So I think you should take my idea and run with it.
Please tell me.
It's a straw that has an aerator on it, and when you drink out of the wine bottle, it aerates and opens the oxygen.
Look at you. Is this
So
a
it's all
patented?
yours
Is this
now.
a patented product now?
It's
that
not
we gotta
a patented
We'll
product.
make it
Not
together.
yet.
I brought it up simply because of the bottling.
Yeah.
I think it would be brilliant. You
Yeah.
could see this at concerts,
Yeah.
at an opera house. Not that they're going to walk around with a swirly straw in an opera house, but you never know.
No, it's true. Having an opportunity to aerate it while it's still in there, that's really interesting.
I'm weird.
No, I love it. I
And
love
that's
it.
why I've stayed for 4 years.
So the other thing, price point,
Yeah, so our average retail pricing is $6.99 to $7.99.
that's it?
Yes.
That's
I love that
fantastic.
response. I love that response.
Okay, I'll take a case of each.
I can't wait. Well, that's the
Just
thing.
for the next 2 days.
For us, I wanted to create something that was, like, again, premium, organic, but that was comparable to what exists, all the cans, bags, and boxes. And so I think you have to be careful about that, because you can get certain brands that I won't name that are super low quality, $4.99 for a 4-pack. So I had to make sure that we weren't so astronomical to push people to say, oh, why don't I just have a full bottle? So once they taste it, I really think it validates. And I think over time, maybe we'll have the opportunity to lift it. But I think as this pricing strategy has worked so well because we're comparable to what exists, and we don't push people to say, oh, I'll just buy a full bottle,
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that, the bottle itself is just beautiful.
Thank
the
you.
label's gorgeous.
And the
I mean,
fact that it's glass and not plastic. You feel like you're opening a quality product right
and
away.
you're not hearing as you're drinking it.
Exactly. And it's totally your preference, because I get it all the time. Should I drink it out of here or should I pour it in a glass? And I'm like, you do you, you know, if you're sitting on the couch and want the ability to close it, then you can just keep it in here. And if you're at a picnic, you can just keep it in here as well. But I like to also pour it in here and have the opportunity to have the full aroma and
the full effect.
Yeah.
I think there's good ways to show these wines in particular. You can show them from a what I would call barbaric way of drinking and just opening and drinking out of the bottle, getting a straw, or even better, having all three options, having a really nice wine glass there, pouring it and say, you may have seen it like this, but where does the wine look better? It looks better in a glass.
It does.
Hence the glass, not the plastic.
Yes.
This would also be good for wine tastings.
Yes.
Especially, we like to educate our staff and teach them about wine and how to taste and things like that. But sometimes you don't want to open a full bottle for that. This would be perfect for a little panel tasting.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
Chardonnay's delicious.
Oh, good. Yes, I
It would
love
taste
our
better
Chard.
cold,
Yes.
but
Both
I'm
of-
a cook.
Yeah.
We drink wherever it is.
Yes, I do love our Chardonnay. Like I said, that was on 3 months French oak, so you get a little bit of the butter, a little bit of the toast, and that one is from California.
So are they all in French oak, some American oak, or?
The red blend actually has no oak. Our cab has 12 months French oak, and the Chardonnay 3 months French oak.
So the red has no,
Wow.
I know. Isn't that fascinating? The mix. It's the mix of the
So it's
wall below.
stainless.
Correct. Isn't that fascinating?
how'd you get a Spanish wine as a stainless?
We'll talk after.
No, but seriously.
Yeah.
If you taste a Spanish wine and you get that Spanish flavor, and again, I'm on Spain again, I'm sorry. You know it's usually in French or American oak or combined.
Yeah.
Depending. And one of the things they do in Spain that a lot of people are not aware, they have the big barriques that are round this way instead of this way, and they use egg white to clarify and or do the unfiltered wines, because this is filtered, right?
Correct.
So this would technically probably have an egg white.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yeah. He knows already.
It's just, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I was able to taste the wine in the cellar of the King of Spain once.
Oh.
And it was
That's
really
pretty
cool.
cool.
It was cool, but I paid $125 for the glass. And it wasn't that much. You should be extremely proud not only of the flavor,
Thank
the
you.
bottling, and the pricing, but most importantly, how proud is your husband?
Oh gosh, I think he stepped away because our poor 1.5-year-old was starting to cry. But he has been the biggest supporter. It's been amazing.
Something I've learned throughout life, if you don't have that person to support your dream is non-existent. So
It's true. I mean, I feel like that's the number one dream. Him. We're celebrating our 5-year anniversary next week, and I just couldn't be-
Congratulations.
Thank you. I just couldn't be more proud to be married to someone who supports. I mean, you know, this journey is a wild roller coaster.
it is.
And so having someone who's on for the ride and supportive all the way is everything.
So can you explain, as long as you need,
Yeah.
explain to people what it actually, without using numbers, the process and
Yeah.
how much it costs to get to this point?
Yeah, so I founded the brand in 2017. I knew pretty quickly that we were going to need to be an investor-backed company because it's so capital intensive, meaning that to make the economics work, you buy in bulk. I wanted to buy not only in bulk, but high quality in bulk, and to get it at an affordable price point. And so I knew that we were going to need to raise a substantial amount of capital to do that. Fortunately, I had a finance background, but still nothing really prepares you to raise capital. And so I've to date raised over $2 million, which is something I'm really
Wow.
proud
That's
of.
great.
But it really was something that I knew going in was going to be a challenge. Women actually earn less than 2% of all venture capital funding in the United States. And so there's a lot of uphill battles. And so to be able to raise that money, I'm so proud of myself and the team. And what that allowed us to do, we first identified, have a team of folks to identify the wines around the world that we want to work with. We bring them over to the United States. So we're actually an importer. Wander and
Awesome.
Ivy is the importer. So we import the wines from all over the world, and then we bottle, label, package everything in Napa, California. And again, we had to do it at a volume that made sense for a production facility to do something so unique, to be so interested in doing it. It had to be at a pretty high volume. So we raised a large amount of capital, bottle, label, packaged everything. I will say we learned a lot. This is now our third production. Our first two productions, we learned a lot. There were things that we needed to improve every time, and the team of people that we worked with allowed us to get to this final product where we are today that I just, like I said, couldn't be more proud of.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank
One
you.
of the things I'm interested in, will you eventually go to vintages?
So it's a great. So we do have vintages. Are you questioning what does it
Aged,
have?
meaning hold on to some of your older stuff to see.
Oh, interesting.
Simply because of the shelf life.
Oh, interesting. So we do, just from a quality control standpoint, we keep them year after year to see how long. Is that your question? Like, will we see? Yeah. So one of the interesting things that's new to this production is that we added the silicone cork, and for the reason of extending the shelf life. Because really, when we started without the silicone cork, it was really only a 12 to 15 month shelf life. With the silicone cork, we believe that it's about 18 to 24 months. But it'll be interesting because it's untested. So we'll be holding on to a lot of it to test it, and we work with some incredible winemakers in Napa, and their production team is kind of constantly testing the analytics to see how it's changing, how it's evolving over the shelf life.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, we can't thank you enough for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being here.
And we want to give her not only an applause for being an amazing host here and a sponsor, but most importantly for all the hard work and amazing products she's bringing to the market.
Thank you
So
so much. For having
congratulations.
me.
Cheers
Thank
to
you
that.
so much. Cheers.
And thank you. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
My last sip of Chardonnay.
Cheers.
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 Thank you so
Clink.
much.